Is Nick Fuentes on the path to redeeming himself?
Shut up. I'm so... You know, this kind of stuff was cute 10 years ago. It's not cute anymore. It's just stale. This little routine, this little act he does, it's really just insulting to our intelligence at this point. It was kind of kitschy and cute and a little funny in 2015, a decade ago. But now that he keeps doing this like obnoxious fucking bullshit, whatever this routine that he's doing is, I can't tell you how sick of it I am. I'm watching him today selling Teslas in front of the White House, and he says, I'm gonna get in one of these suckers. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of this weird fucking voice he's always doing, this weird jokey joke fucking gimmick. It's just stupid. It's just stupid and embarrassing and just fucking dumb. And I can't tell you how annoying it is now. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Maybe you guys still think it's funny. I've been on the Trump train for 10 years, and it's like, I can't take it anymore. I feel like I'm going crazy. It's just like a bad, it's like a bad sitcom. It's like an insufferable sitcom character that does a funny gag, and they just keep going every season, and it gets more hammed up. It's like Jar Jar Binks. Trump has turned into like Jar Jar Binks of the Republican Party. He's in front of the White House. Should I get in this sucker? Shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? Can you talk normally? Can you just be fucking normal for like 10 seconds? Jeez. And 10 years ago, he was more normal. 10 years ago, there was like a little more, I don't know, like discretion, or I don't even know what you would call that, just like tact. 10 years ago, he was serious, he was intense, and he was a little bit funny sometimes. Now he's just always doing this weird, jokey voice, doing these weird, like, billions and billions. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. I can't stand it anymore. It's like just, and yeah, call it Trump derangement syndrome. It's more just like Trump annoyance syndrome. Like, 10 years of this? Gosh. It's like a family member that says the same thing to you every day. It's like a best friend that has like a weird habit or something. That, or a colleague at work or a classmate doing.
He watches CPAC. He comes out and says the following.
This was some sick shit. Bannon gets up there and says, I think Trump's going to run in 28. He goes, we want Trump, and then he throws up a straight up Roman salute. It's getting a little uncomfortable even for me. Even I'm starting to feel like that guy in the picture that wouldn't hail Hitler. It's even getting a little uncomfortable, and I'm saying that, And I was writing policy memos for Supreme Leader Kanye West.
Too Nazi for the Nazi.
I was writing policy papers based on Hitler's policies for Supreme Leader Ye. And it's getting even a little excessive for me. Bannon goes up there and he's like, Trump is our guy in 28. Person like that only comes around twice in a country's history. We want Trump. And then a straight up salute. And even me, I'm kind of looking around like, is everyone see that? Is everyone rocking with this?
Here's what he said on his show the other day. Listen to this.
Garbage. And at the Trump rallies, they're yelling, trash for Trump, trash for Trump. And I saw other people. I saw white guys. I saw Hispanic guys inside trash cans jumping out of them with Trump signs. White guys with garbage bags that say trash for Trump 2024. And that was kind of like, to me, that was the moment when I realized Trumpism was a cult. That was the moment when I realized liberals are right. What? I want to express some concerns here. Seeing Trump move in such an aggressive way, it is a little bit frightening because it is destabilizing. And when you see the might of American empire directed like this, you realize that this has a lot of gravity to it. There is a weight to it. America is this juggernaut, and it can crush everything in its path. And if we have this extremely energetic executive branch that is making these moves like that, you wonder who gets crushed. And you wonder if the good guys might get crushed. People like us, people like the Groypers, people like opponents of Israel, opponents of the H-1B visas, whatever you want to say. When you see the hammer come down, you hope that you're outside of it. It feels good when it's illegals. It felt good when it was Muslims under George W. Bush, if you're a conservative. But what happens when it's nationalists? What happens when they turn those weapons that were built in the Patriot Act after 9/11 against the Trump supporters? What happens when they turn the weapons they're using against the people in Gaza and the Hezbollah supporters on the campus and the illegals? What happens when they turn that on the so-called real neo-Nazis, the so-called real white nationalists, the real conspiracy theorists, the black pillars? What happens then? And that's why I'm a little bit concerned about it. In my opinion, if you're a Catholic, you can't vote for Trump. You cannot vote for somebody who is now frequently supporting abortion rights. Frequently. It seems like every week he supports abortion. Catholics should not support Trump. If you are anti-war, you cannot support Trump. Trump is the World War III candidate. Trump is talking about wiping Iran off the map. That's where the war is going to go nuclear, not Ukraine. You can't vote for Trump. If you're an immigration restrictionist, you can't vote for Trump. They're not deporting any illegals. Okay, that's not happening. They admitted as much. And they're going to bring in more legal immigrants than ever before. And if you think there's some silver lining that we're going to get jobs in the Trump admin, maybe it's bad, but we're going to get in and fix it, think again. Because the personnel are going to be controlled by Jared Kushner. None of these people can vote for Trump. I'm calling on Catholics, anti-war supporters, immigration restrictionists, and MAGA loyalists to stay home and not vote for Trump. And if we go forward with any operations with Groyper War II, from now on, that is the goal. At one point it was to get Trump's attention. Going forward is going to be to get people not to vote, period.
There you have it.
As much as I hate to admit it, liberals were right fundamentally about Trump. Whether he has good intentions or bad intentions, whether he means well or not, some people blame his advisors, some people blame people around him. Whatever you think about his culpability, he is in effect, okay, maybe not consciously or intentionally, but in effect, what he is a demagogue. What he is a populist demagogue. And directionally, what liberals said about him, which is that he was stirring up the rubes, animating the rubes with nativist rhetoric and ginning up resentment against the system to empower himself and the people around him, and then brought the swamp closer to the periphery in his first and second administration, willing to say and do anything. Yeah, that all kind of turned out to be true. Yeah, that basically turned out to be true.
So I forget which movie that I saw this from, and it really pissed me off. Because it's, an hour, 2 hour long movie, and in the very beginning there's this guy who was just a fucking racist piece of shit. And I hated him. I hated him the entire damn movie experience. Up until the damn ending. Up until the last, 10 minutes, the last 5 minutes. And then the last 5 minutes, this awful, terrible, racist piece of shit realizes the error of his ways, wants to marry a black woman who he finds, beautiful and wants to cherish her, and then denounces racist and racism and says everybody was wrong. Anybody who thinks that, you judge a person by the skin color and not the content of their character, that you're wrong. And what pissed me off about it was that redeems him. His, redemption arc. His redemption arc. He's a redeemable character now. So you can be a piece of shit your entire life, and then at the very end, you turn a fucking leaf, you turn a goddamn corner, and now you're fucking brilliant. Now you're fucking smart. Makes me think of that Machiavelli quote. When you're always good, it's people will point out when you slightly slip, when you're not good. When you're not, if you're perfectly good, people will point out any minor bad that they perceive you doing. But if you're always bad, then it's the good that people see. You know, when you're always bad, then it's the few instances when you are good. And it just pisses me off because why the fuck is human nature like that? If you've been a fucking racist piece of shit your whole fucking life, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, guys, I was wrong. Like, no shit, you were wrong. You were clearly fucking wrong. But then you correct it in such a big way. And so I'm not saying that Nick Fuentes has totally redeemed himself yet, but it does seem like he's on this path where he could become a redeemable fucking figure. He could be redeemed. Makes me think of Jackson Hinkle in a lot of respects. Jackson Hinkle says a lot of crazy shit. A lot of crazy shit. And I don't agree with him on Ukraine, but I definitely agree with him on Palestine. And so when he says, you know, crazy shit in defense of Palestine, you know, I'm all about it. And they said, well, how can you keep on, you know, saying this crazy shit? And Jackson Hinkle just said, I'm young. You know, I got the rest of my life in front of me. My entire life is in front of me. So he could, you know, have a crazy 5 years and then goddamn redeem himself and then be the fucking voice of reason, you know, for decades. If they're smart and they can capture that moment right. And it didn't even have to be a moment, you know. It could be a fucking shift. It could be a year or two shift. It could just be, you know, take a fucking vacation. Take a vacation. Hang out with some, maybe do interviews, you know, with revolutionaries or communists or liberals, I guess, if you want. Leftist, anarchist, you know, federalist. Maybe even get some federalist in there. Some postmodernist. What the fuck is a Groyper? He's leading the Groyper army? What is a Groyper army? Does Grok know what a Groyper army is? What is a Groyper? Not Groper, Groyper. How you spell Groyper? Yeah. Sure. A Groyper is a term that refers to a loosely organized group of internet users and activists associated with far-right, alt-right, or white nationalist ideologies. The name comes from a cartoon character, a green frog-like figure derived from the Pepe the Frog meme, often depicted with its chin resting on interlocked hands. This image became a symbol for the group, which is sometimes called the Groyper Army. Groypers are known for their attempts to push extremist views into more mainstream conservative circles, often through trolling, provocative questions at public events, or online harassment. They're typically critical of what they see as moderate conservatism, advocating instead for nationalist, anti-immigration, and sometimes explicitly racist or anti-Semitic positions. The movement is closely tied to figures like Nick Fuentes, a political commentator who has been a prominent leader within this subculture. The term originated around 2015 on platforms like 4chan, predating its association with Fuentes, and its meaning has evolved over time. Some see Groypers as a rebranding of the declining alt-right, while others view them as a distinct faction focused on disrupting conventional political discourse. Now, that's what I meant. So, okay, I guess time will tell what's going to become of this fucking Nick Fuentes. Evolution? Is this evolution, or is this just him zigzagging? What? Alright, Fuentes, you got my attention, motherfucker. You gonna make something good out of it? You gonna do something good out of it? You gonna get us universal basic income? You gonna stop wars? You gonna build some homes for the homeless? Declare war on poverty? Huh? What are you gonna do there? What's your next move? You just gonna stay on the internet and keep on groyping? And that's another crazy thing. You get big eyeball, people are paying attention to you, then it's like, are you gonna turn this into political capital or just kind of squander it all? Motherfucker.